Test this 1 2 1 2. Test this 1 2 1 2. Test this 1 2 1 2. All right. Let's see. Let's get Elrac off of there. Yeah, there I am. Welcome back to another episode of the Bizzle Plays Stellaris. I'm calling this one Stellaris and Chill, and while I am doing this synthetic dawn AI, mechanical beings rule the universe thing, I've been calling it a holy Mech Empire, but really we're not trying to convert people in any sort of human way, but we're also not trying to forcibly assimilate them, at least yet, like the Borg. And in fact, as you'll see if you're joining us for the first time, and thank you, we have a cybernetic population of basically elves, cybernetic elves. I decided early on I wanted cybernetics to be a big part of what I did. Now, I got shut out of the full cybernetics arc because of other decisions, and maybe that'll hurt me, because, cybernetic beings are my secondary population. They grow slower. They have potentially both the failings of machines and of full non-machine sapient beings. And they need things like food and other amenities that, my machine robot population don't need. There's a bunch of resources that I either am not collecting at all or just don't matter. Like consumer goods aren't a thing for me. So my plan is to uplift planets within my ever-growing empire, make them cybernetic, and then if I do start conquering other territories, whether they belong to existing empires or they're or they're systems that don't belong to anyone, but do have pre-existing less advanced species and so forth, try and bring them all into my sort of intergalactic cosmopolitan situation, or whatever you want to call it. So here's my empire. Here's the whole galaxy. You can see the edges. I think it's a 4-spiral galaxy. It looks like I chose 4 spirals instead of 2. I am indeed the scythe of the 001 God Machine, and we have a really nice large empire here in the center. It's caused problems, and it's continuing to cause problems because, well, the center of the universe, which you can't explore or settle or anything, center of the galaxy, provides an unbelievable, completely foolproof wall all along my extended eastern front, basically, because there's no way to attack me from here. Now, there are wormholes and gateways and so forth that I haven't researched and haven't been using, but I have been trying to control them for later, because potentially, just as an example, this we'll go to Craxima, which does have a planet, Gaia world planet, that's growing fast, and 6 of the 15 pops are the Nahiri, which are my cybernetic elves, but this also has this wormhole here. If I double click on it, it doesn't do anything. Look how beautiful that is. But potentially it could be connected anywhere over here. I've 3, this sign here is a gateway, so it's, as opposed to wormholes, which are a natural phenomenon, gateways are from ancient, very, very ancient species that have just been left there, so there's mysteries around them. We've got one here, and there's one in Diamu. I have one here, right, and there's another wormhole here, and there's a pre-FTL civilization. So those are both things I would love to capture. Also, It's a not great planet, but not terrible. So here's a situation of what I got diplomatically. Okay, so I'm Yella, the player Empire. Okay, Scythe of the 001 God Machine. All the empires or organizations that have white underneath are sort of traditional AI non-player characters. So there's 4 I know about. There's the Abnevi. I'm sorry. Well, one's in orange. This is a fallen empire. So they're a little bit of a non-traditional AI empire, and this is them here. This is all they control, is this tiny area. But when you go to the situation log, which shows you all your projects, things, anomalies you're researching, also shows victory points, even if and you won't know any or most of the reasons why. They've been at like a super high score for a very long time, and while I'm ahead of everyone else at 3,400 points, I'm not way ahead. The Syntones are way ahead, but they were built as a special civilization, and what they were built on are these mega structures. These are basically bigger than the Death Stars. They're like Dyson spheres, essentially. I don't know if they're exactly Dyson spheres. They have 4 in this planet. In fact, this might be their... They do have a regular planet here, but in Gamma Refuge they have these ruined ring stations. I guess, in fact, it's just one ruined ring station that goes all the way around the planet. Yeah. So, it's unclear. It's unclear whether they are using them at all. They are a fallen civilization. They do have a star base with huge military power. But there was a period where I was scouting close enough with my science ships that I could see a little bit more details, even without going into their system. And they had these they had a handful of ridiculously powerful fleets, types of ships that I don't even know about. So I think this was built in as one of the challenges where they start the game way in the lead, but because they are not expanding anymore and they're everything is based on these mega structures, but also a couple giant fleets that they have, they're not really growing. You know, games like this, it's called, you're deciding between growing wide or growing tall. Normally I grow wide, which is to literally just have bigger and bigger empire. But some empires, whether by like the Abnevians here, who are sort of sandwiched in the northwest corner, they took at least 3 planets and some bases, but they have nowhere else to really expand. A lot due to me, and so they have to start making their bases bigger, more powerful. Their planets do much more. More advanced buildings and more production, and making sure that all the planets, all these green planets. So I'm the light blue here because my main population is machine. They have 100% habitability rating, essentially, with bonuses on any planet. My cybernetic elves prefer specifically alpine or tundra worlds, like my home planet Master Conduit. Let's see, where else do I have? So there's a savannah world here, but as you'll see, it's all robot populations because my cybernetic elves, the Nahiri, won't like these whatsoever. I'm about to settle. Okay, so I was this here's empire size. At 100, you start taking negative traits because of it, and because of some negative traits associated just with being a machine. I do take a hit if I take too many planets, but as you can see under that big red 50% machine intelligence, here a bigger number is worse. So plus 50%, plus 50% is actually a negative, but you see I have two green numbers below that, negative 25% extensible software, negative 50% imperial prerogative, so it basically cancels it out. But on top of that, eventually the whole galaxy gets settled, or you get blocked out. I'm blocked out here by the Obnevians, who don't like me. I'm blocked out all across my western flank by the Vivicendians, who don't like me. The humans, who I'm very cooperative with, actually, and don't like the Vivicendians, the Vivicendians are sandwiched between us and the humans. So at the moment, we can't get directly to the humans. The reason we can see their map is because if you go to their contacts, Federation builders, you can see that we have a research agreement, trade deals, but we also specifically, where is it? It's in our trade. What's our trade deal? Well, anyways, we did a trade deal with them, and part of the trade deal was we would just show each other's maps, which actually benefits them more than me, because me being a big empire in the middle, I've already seen a lot, and with my science ships so far from home, but still researching and surveying systems, I'm going to have a pretty good look at least the sort of core planets and systems, within sort of a year or two of game time. But I wanted to see this side. I wanted to see the side of the Vivicendian mandate, the far side, the side that's next to the human cooperative, because I think they're the ones we might go to war with first, especially because if we can make a full alliance with the human cooperative, they'll have to join and help us. And so I just wanted to see all these maps, so I didn't mind giving them the information. I'm not playing an espionage game so far. My machines are like the sort of typical Asimov type, 3 laws of robotics thing. But they also think like machines, like Data from Star Trek. They may be smarter than everyone else, but they also, for them, they feel like they can use science and their machine brains to solve things. They don't need to use underhanded techniques, and they don't have that sort of espionage gene that's built into humans to do, underhanded backstab type stuff. So for both gameplay and sort of role-playing reasons, I'm not going to pursue espionage with them. But another reason is because one of my main characteristics, and here's my leader right here, who theoretically can live forever. The ruler, right. So here's my modifiers: Spark of Genius, Machine Intelligence. These are qualities the leader, all positive so far. The leader, that buff various parts of my empire. Alright, governing epic. So, oops. So this is the when you want to choose. I think this is what came out in the Synthetic Dawn DLC a while ago. Side note: I'm labeling this stream Synthetic Dawn run in Stellaris, but I own almost all the DLCs, and everything I own are available. Only any DLCs that came out in the last year or so, I probably don't own. But anything that came out from the beginning until about a year or two ago, I do own. Okay, so the rulers are immortal. That's great. So I have to forcibly change rulers, or if he starts getting bad traits. Then I would, I would do so. It can't be democratic, oligarchic, dictatorial, or imperial. Gestalt consciousness, right? So Gestalt consciousness activates not just you playing robots or machines, but that activates an entire campaign where the storylines and the opponents and the discoveries and everything is all affected by the fact that you chose Gestalt consciousness. But immediately, I'm not going to go there now, but if you go to one of my earlier episodes where you just have Stellaris, maybe I'll do how to create a race and how to create a game tutorial at some point for new players. This is definitely not one you should start with, because well, they have some very powerful things that are added that only Gestalt consciousness track can get you. There's lots of things you can't do. So here's some of the helpful things other than the ruler being immortal. Happiness is not a thing. Although it's possible that happiness is a thing with my cybernetic life forms. We'll check that in a second. Native pops belong to drone living standard, do not require consumer goods. So right up here you can see with consumer goods, this is another reason I actually didn't know this was going to happen. But consumer goods is the one that makes the least sense other than buying and trading them for stuff. So as a comparative, so because my machines don't need food and my cybernetic elves are a tiny minority, probably only need a small amount of food, and it's only a minority of my population. I have an economy because one of the three civics I chose as part of my species, my civilization, before the game started was called organic reprocessing, or maybe I started with that, where it replaces fabricators with catalytic drones. That's one of your sort of like main command center buildings that you start a planet with. You can also add to it, but it turns food into alloys. And I have a number of effects, global effects, but also local buildings that turn food into alloys. So you think, okay, why do yes, I'm plus 24, producing almost 370 per month, but I'm consuming almost 350 per month. So I'm barely positive in the food category. You say, well, why? Well, it's because I have a ton of buildings, and as you can see, they're jobs related to turning food into alloys somehow that I can use. Alloys are the hardest to get. You almost always have to trade up to get alloys. You can't sort of mine alloys the way you mine minerals or energy or so forth, or the way you grow food. My point being is, in most normal games, you could do something like this with food to turn food into other things, but you also just need food for your species, because most times you're not playing a robot species, or certainly maybe you have robot servants or slaves, or drone workers, or you discover AI, but like the sort of the majority in the ruler class, and the majority of the citizens, they're going to need food because they're organic beings. Whereas consumer goods, it's usually just like, I get consumer goods so I can trade it to do something else. So not having to worry about consumer goods, just from a pure gameplay standpoint, just one less resource to have to worry about, and it's the resource that has the least direct sort of great uses, and is mostly has been helpful for me in the past just as a trade value thing. I don't even have to worry about here. We do have an archaeology skill with our leader and some of our other scientists, and there are some archaeology buildings, but they're very expensive. And so for now, I'm still relying on my my science ships to do most of the research. Let's see. My pops cannot survive in non-Gestalt consciousness empires. Can use the no retreat war doctrine. So you combine that with, let's just talk about war for a second. God damn it, I hate the side menu there. Okay, here it is. Machines are built. Cannot research robot. Right. So I can't follow the cybernetic ascension path because of another choice, even though I'm making cybernetic beings. So for my mid-max, efficiency thing, it probably wasn't the smartest to sort of pursue on-the-ground creation of and spread of and development of cybernetic beings, considering I can't follow those ascension paths, which are different than research. You're researching technologies, but ascension paths are much longer-term things with 5 in a group, and they're thematized. So one has to do with diplomacy, one has to do with the unity of your creatures, whether machine unity or sort of spiritual unity. One has to do with prosperity and you're growing your economy. One has to do with exploring and surveying and blah, 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 blah. So there's some that are shut off from me. You can see that there are empire effects, and worse than that, plus 50% empire size from planets is below that. Pop growth reduction 50%. So the biggest problem I'm having is I'm now in a period where I want to be settling, but also filling out planets. But at the same time, they're growing slow, and the cybernetic life forms, the cybernetic elves, have even slower growth population. So that's just something I deal with. But counteracting that, I recently added a rapid replicator. And what that does is increase mechanical population assembly speed by 20%. So that helps grow the machines, and I have buildings on most of my planets. Let's go to the home planet. This has almost everything. The machine assembly plants, I have these things where I turn energy credits into unity, but more importantly alloys into machine pops. But I also have does this planet not have one? There's a fortress. Don't really need that. Research labs, simulation site. Yeah, this is a food producing planet. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. Alloy foundries, which should be on more of my planets probably, turns food into alloys, which is part of my thing, is that I get good at growing food, and you can see all these food buildings here, and these are all food buildings as well. So I'm creating tons of food to turn them into alloys, which you need to build new star bases and to build new ships. Specifically, buildings are built by minerals, which I have tons of, both per month and just overall, and so I never am short on minerals to build new buildings or fill out the sectors, or so forth. So that's that. So let's just jump to the contact screen real quick again. So overwhelming power for the Synthoans, but again, it's just this tiny little empire here, but they happen to have a giant fleet. But they've been around forever and they're not expanding, so they probably don't have much of an economy. They call this relative power, but it really means that even if I send all my fleets against them, and here's the estimated damage, and here's how many. So I have a fleet of 40, one of 47, one of 25. They can be at the moment up to 100 each, although I'm limited by 127 naval capacity, so I can't add that much more. But they give you you can click on it and you can see the entire fleet ship by ship and tons of stats and how many of each you have and so forth. This number here, 6.0k military power, is estimate of combined offensive defensive. So when you go into a battle, if I have 6k and you have 3k, I should win, and you can't really micro in battle. Once you engage a battle, you're leaving it up to your fleet compositions. So this is a game where you are against the clock at times, moving fleets to defend a place or to attack a place. But once you engage with the enemy, it's really, for the most part, unless you try and run, which is almost impossible, it's in the hands of the AI resolving it. But if your fleet build, if you're at only 3k and I'm at 6k, but your fleet build is more optimal, and let's say I have a fleet that's meant to take on lots of big ships, but you send a fleet of a lot of small ships, well, it's not going to show up as a big number in terms of military power, but those small ships might sneak past my slow missiles and torpedoes and long-range weapons, get up close, and cause lots of problems, and maybe even win, or so forth. So going back to contacts, you can see that the main species, so there's a splinter species, the Azteans. Are they in my empire? I can't even remember. But the main ones that I know about, the Federation builders, which are the humans that I want to, I already have agreements and treaties with, but want to keep becoming friends with them. They're inferior, which means they're worse than us, but not by a ton. But luckily, the Rutharian Directorate, Refining Directorate, I'm not near. But the two big ones that border me, the Obnevians and the Viviscendians, are both listed as pathetic. And so just to go back to my ruler for a second, one thing that I get as part of my qualities is, hold on one sec, where did they list it? Right, it says I can use no retreat war doctrine, but there's more than that for war. So this shows you the Nahiris are the dark, the light, the Max, which are the machines of the dark, and I have this third race that I uplifted called the Bogasharans or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Here's the overall effects of various things. Here, that's the pop growth speed plus 20 from genome mapping and cloning. Fine, I'll take it. So overall, my growth rate isn't terrible. But I also have a space dragon, which I'll show you, which just hangs out in my my area here. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it?
Upscaling complete.
Here it is.
Research
it generally
actualized.
Was causing problems for me, but I figured as sort of, since the space dragon thing is actually like my full origin story, it's not just a small thing, that he was going to play a part throughout. And so I've done everything possible to try to be nice to him, and it seems like he's actually starting to be able to communicate with us, or vice versa, is much smarter than we think. And so he might actually give me a huge tech and or power bump if I can manage to keep a good relationship. But it only happens every once in a while. I have no direct control over it. It just does what it wants. And, you know, that's it. But let's see, government. Here we go. So right. So in the government screen for the machines is different than all the other government screens. And it's basically built on leveling up what they call nodes from levels 1 to 10. And each node has a skill. Empire Frex's counselor. Right, I'm not sure what... I'm not sure what it means by counselor. It's a little confusing. But like, so I'm level 3. I'm level 3 at the Legion node. So it gives me all of those buffs or debuffs there. Galactic expansion, so it adds some influence. Node increment leader trait. Okay, so this is any leader. So they gain unity and experience. Growth is what I've mostly been focusing on, because again, I'm trying to grow those pops and grow my empire. And so it does various things to increase job, lower upkeeps of armies and ships, and so forth. Here's my leader with all of his or her or their traits, and so forth. So I'm not paying too much attention to these because these are really nice bonuses. But for example, you know, like I said, I'm not doing an espionage run, but I'm also not worried about espionage against my own people, which is the thing. You can, if you play non-machine entities, you know, organics or whatever, and you have a certain types of government, they'll split into factions. And if you don't deal with the factions, or if there's unemployment, or if there's other problems on the planet, all of these things can lead to unhappiness, what they call here deviancy. But so far, my cybernetic beings haven't shown any of these effects one way or the other. They don't seem to want to or care about factionalizing. And since I'm not trying to infiltrate enemies in sort of the old school spy sense, or infiltrate my own population, I don't really care as much about that. Cognitive node is great because anything that increases research speed, even by 2%, plus influence cost going down for, which is what it costs to you spend influence, which I actually have I'm maxed out on, which has never happened to me before because I got nowhere to spend it. Because the two main places you spend it are settling new systems, but as you can see, I'm blocked up here by all these red aliens are hostile to me. So I've gotten as far as I can possibly go before hitting the red aliens. and then I'm blocked on the west side by the Obnevians and the Vivicendians, as I said, who don't particularly like me. I thought I was going to be blocked here by the Synthoan community, but as you can see, and there's, like I mentioned, there's special AI where they only have a few planets, but they're ancient and they have a fleet that's ridiculously powerful. And so I'm only near 2258. This game technically runs to 2400, I believe. So, we're a little bit over a quarter, heading towards the third into the game. There are a number of different ways you can win, but if I'm going to win militarily by taking these guys down, I may be way back in terms of military power now, but that could easily change, and so forth. But back to the Empire growing really quickly. Oh, but by the way, I was just trying to mention, we were talking about war. So the other reason I have all this influence is normally when you are planning on making war on another civilization, whether immediately or down the road, or you're just sort of threatening them, you go to what's called claims. And forget these X's. Normally these are just normal hexagonal, and you place a claim on it, and it costs a certain amount of influence to do so, and you need to have a number of claims and work your way into insulting them, and then having an aggressive stance, and then eventually if a number of things accrue, you can declare war. But because the main goal of my empire is assimilation, like the Borg, yes, absolutely. I have, okay, here it is in Driven Assimilator. Towards the bottom, this is the assimilation casus belli and other empires. Casus belli means cause of war. It's a Latin term that goes back a long time, but specifically to the sort of early Christian Dark Ages, medieval period, where you could just, you could be the Frankish Empire, or you could be the Germanic Empire, you could be the Holy Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, whatever, and you could just invade someone else. But since they're all technically Christians, it was seen as sort of an unchristian thing to do, to just openly go into war. But if you had cause to go to war, what you do is you would petition usually the Pope, because the Pope is supposed to be above all the nations, and above all the leaders of the nations, or at least the mediator between the leaders of these Christian nations. Now if you were a Christian nation that was going after an Islamic nation, for an example, or something, then everyone would cheer you in the European world, and that's different. But if it's going to be European on Europeans, you would need a cause for war. That's called a casus belli. Well, because I have the assimilation trait, which is one of my main traits, I have that as a casus belli at all times, which means I can't make claims on systems even if I wanted to, but it doesn't matter, because not only does it save me influence, which again I'm maxed out on. I didn't think you could max out on influence, because that's where you spend a lot of influence, because you could casus belli a number of systems and then end up losing them in the war, or gaining them and then losing them, so that influence just goes down the drain. But it also means that I can have friendly relations. I mean, I happen to have not super friendly relations right now with these guys, but even if I did, I could just invade willy-nilly, as they say, without any other excuses, because of the assimilation trait. And the no retreat war doctrine is, I'm a little curious what the no retreat. By the way, I did create a capital ship. I have 6 planets and I'm about to go to 7, which might be a big over expansion. Here it is here. Let's see if I can follow it. Here it is. Yeah. So there's my colony ship. Okay, I got some research to do. So it is going to this planet, which is, again, it's a tropical world. So my cold weather elves would hate it. But it has a ton of planet size and capacity and districts to fill up, so which means you can build so many buildings in so many districts. It's going to be arguably my biggest and most powerful planet when all is said and done. And this is where it's great to be a robot, great to be a machine. It has 2 major environmental ecological issues, but like so many things in this game, which makes it great, is those issues have both a positive and negative effect, and you weigh it against what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you'll see that the negatives aren't gonna, well, let me just jump into it and you'll see. So the first is that there's hazardous weather, unstable weather patterns, tornadoes, hurricanes, etc. Habitability goes down -10%, but the habitability rating affects machines. It does affect me a little bit, but way less than organic beings. So it's already 100% because, like I said, 100%. You know, it's just because I'm a robot and they don't really care the weather conditions. Because I'm a machine, I get a plus 200%. And so the hazardous weather -10%, you see a couple others there, -2, -5. There would have to be so many negative debuffs or traits in the planet to offset the fact that machine has a plus 200%, which is why none of these red negative numbers are going to affect me. Happiness wouldn't affect me even if it was going to affect me. Meaning happiness is just not factored into the equation with robots. But and then there's asteroid impacts as well, which further lowers habitability, completely offset by my machine plus 200% habitability. But this is what these two supposedly negative ecological characteristics, I do get the positives from them. One is the hazardous weather gives me more energy credits from jobs, which is great. I can always use more energy because energy is actually the central currency that you use to get other resources as well as other things. +4 max generator districts. So that means even though I have 19 and it's going to be 23 districts I can build once these blockers are cleared. These are like environmental things in your way that you need to spend some energy to clear. I'll have 23 and then another 27. It's unprecedented to have 27 districts at a place. I've never seen that. I also get +5% from just jobs in general and extra mining districts to make you even more districts. So this is going to be a super powerful world. And it's probably going to be the last world I'll settle for a while. Now I will say on this part, on my far eastern flank, there is a tundra world, which has some negatives from hostile fauna, but could and is small, maybe not worth the colonization. But this is the climate that my cybernetic elves do like. So in the future could be something we do. Okay, that's enough of an intro there. What are we researching? Right, okay, so I've never gone up with the point defense or any of the P weapons things, but you know, PDCs are such, whether it's Battlestar Galactica or The Expanse, and new, you know, hard science fiction properties, point defense cannons. It would be an important thing in real life, especially for capital ships, to go after all the little ships swarming it. And I just wanted to see what would happen, because we can go to the Fleet Maker later, but as the ship gets bigger, you get more sections that you can add weapons and other special things to. And so for the cruiser, which is the biggest, I mean, there's Battleship, and then there's even bigger than Battleship, which I'll get to eventually. But right now I'm at Cruiser, which is the first of sort of the big ships. You get 3. And I'll just show you real quick. And the ship designer. Here's the carrier that I just built. Okay, this is a perfect thing to show you. So it has 3 sections you can do, and within those sections you can choose different configurations. So this one has 2 medium weapons in front, 2 small in back. They're the same, but they're just different sizes. The railgun and the ion disruptor are in front, and then you've got the same in back, the small versions. But in the middle, you have a scout wing, which launches smaller ships, but you also have point defense, which only have a range of 30 and is small, but which does a really good amount of damage. And has a very low cooldown. So if you've ever seen, you know, The Expanse, they do have one big railgun. So here's my railgun. That's the railgun on this, I believe, is there. Yeah. Right. So there's the railgun. These are the 2 railguns here. The Eon disruptors are these things. Things like torpedoes and or railguns, like on the Rocinante. And actually, I have a ship called the Rocinante. Where is it? Here it is, cruiser. And one of the reasons they named it Rocinante, other than just tributing the Expanse, was because this is covered with missiles and torpedoes. And in addition to the railgun, which is like, it takes a ton of power, and you can only shoot once, like every few minutes at best, and it can cause problems for your ship. You also have torpedoes, which are just like, normal torpedoes, like right here, missiles, which can be guided or partially guided. They're both partially guided and can be retracked, but they go right through the shields because they're explosive kinetic weapons, essentially. They're called explosives, but they're kinetic weapons like railguns. They shoot physical things as opposed to lasers, which shoot, energy, laser beams, or so forth. And so anyways, my point was that I want to create, and I'll, as I get bigger ships, I'll do bigger ship versions of this. The center to be point defense cannons and squadrons of ships, so that even though I'm going into battle with a really healthy amount of corvettes, you can see there's 13 corvettes, which are a small ship. I have 4 frigates, which are also small ships, but are specifically meant to attack big ships. They're blockade busters, they're capital ship busters, and so you load them up with big, powerful weapons, and they actually get bonuses. The bigger the ship they go after, the more powerful their weapon attacks are. Destroyers I was building just because they were my biggest ship for a while, but I'm not building more. And 5 cruisers is very nice. You can see the entire list here of all the different ships and where they're at, and so forth. You can also look at the fleet. I haven't looked at the fleet in a while. They're in formation. This is cool. Yeah, there it is. This is a star base here. This guy. And let's see if I can get a good view there of the fleet. This is my biggest fleet. This is the Apex. It's the Apex fleet. Yeah, it's the Apex fleet. So they're just waiting there to fight. So yeah, so they're waiting there to fight. So here's the situation. So the Obnevians are in bad shape. I don't think they have enough power to attack me. They only have one way to get to attack me, which is to jump into the jump run system, which is undefended other than just your basic starbase or outpost or whatever you want to call it. Well, it's not a starbase. It's specifically an outpost. Yeah, it's an outpost. Right. But guarding right next to it into the Empire is giant Starhold, and soon to be Star Fortress Paith Station. So since I also have big stations right here, only a couple jumps away, and I'm gonna be building actually I already am building stuff here. Let's see. Let's get a couple frigates, bomber class, vaporizer class. And so we're building up a fleet here, and then we'll send it here, or maybe it'll hang out at Chokes. It doesn't matter, because I'm dealing with a very weak empire here that only has one access point, and none of these aliens, none of them will let me into their system, and they'll destroy me if I try to engage them. Although I'm getting to the point where some of these I could eliminate, actually, and it's something I might want to think about, especially over here. So these guys are 10,000, so that would be tough. These guys are only 711, but because there's some systems here with really good outputs. I mean, look at these numbers of research and research outputs that they have, and so forth. Militarily, the only thing I have to worry about are from the Vivicendians, but I have 2 things working in my favor. What's working against me is, so here are the lines. These orange lines show when it's going from an enemy empire or just a rival into yours. So they can enter at Dor, Avalam, Kazabas, where I have my my feudal realm that I'm trying to uplift. Basically, they're just in the Iron Age right now, but we'll uplift them and make them into cybernetics. And they have a 4th entrance point down here at Klenda. I should point out, by the way, that they do have multiple bases 1 or 2 spaces away to Klenda. And their other base is close to Kazabius, which is the only one of these 4 entrance points that have neither a fleet nor a space station. I can't afford, I literally will suffer major penalties if I put another spaceport down at this point. Now they also can enter here. This seems like a likely entry point at Betox, or they can enter here at Fuelia. So the best thing I can do right now is keep offensive ships, because I'm not going to keep 7 or 8 fleets going. It's for a whole lot of reasons, but mostly just because it would be way too expensive. So I have a major fleet here, I have a major fleet here, and I have a major fleet here, just in case someone to the east tries something. Or, well, like I said, I would never survive a fight against this Synthoan continuity. That's an ancient race that has 1 or 2 ginormous fleets, and they're not expanding, but if I try and attack them, I'll get completely eliminated. But these guys are only 1 stop away from Betox and a couple stops away from Fuelia, in case I need them to intervene. So that's like one of the main other places I'm still building ships as well. They're already at 3.9k, which is very nice. And if I have to move the Klendor fleet over to here, it is, let's see, how long would it would take 641 days to get there, which is a lot. So yeah, I mean, whenever I get a new starbase, but the good news is, part of the reason I did the starbase here is that while they can enter at Betox and Voldox, Fuelia, the bad guys, all of it takes them through Euskepis, or whatever this planet is, before they got to the rest of my empire. So the worst thing that would happen would just be that I lose 3 systems that I haven't invested anything in anyways. This desert world, if I can solidify this position eventually, I'll settle, because it has tons of spaces for buildings and districts and so forth. But for now, this prevents them from getting into the entrance to the southeast to my empire, but really to anywhere else, which is why I'm focusing more on guarding these entrance points, because this takes them right into the heart of my the main part of my empire, whatever. I actually should probably also have a fleet at some point here at Beryllion, because they can easily get to the Kazabius entrance point, but also then send reinforcements to the western borders, or down to the southern and eastern borders and so forth. So that's where I am right now. It looks like all of my fleets are upgrading. What did I just research? Oh, I just researched advanced railguns. So these are going to be expensive, but I'm going to get super bumps in these military power numbers once the upgrades are finished.
Outlier identified.
Alright, something else happened already. Let me, Alright, resource silos capacity 5,000. That's nice. Planetary build speeds 50%. Ooh, empire size from districts negative 10%. Have to do it. I really want to get to the battleship, but right now I'm building plenty of cruisers, and so I hope this is still there. I have some special thing that allows me to see. Normally you only see 3 or 4 research choices. I get to see 6, specifically in engineering. I can't remember what that came from, but yeah, hopefully that means battleship will stick around. But it's only gonna take 20 months to research this, and these are all empire-wide stats that just accrue immediately. You don't need to build anything. You don't need to do an edict, pass any laws, nothing. I do this research, and all of a sudden, I can store more stuff, I can build stuff faster, and I get less penalized up here at the empire size. Because right now, districts are adding 42 to that 236. So only reduce it by 4 or 5, but every little bit counts. Because I'm at such a big empire size that I'm suffering very significant hits to my tradition adoption costs. Tradition adoptions, of course, are here. This is the ascension paths or whatever. You can only take 7, and I've chosen 5. I'm not sure I'm happy with all of them. I completed discovery and expansion, but synchronicity, I'm not actually sure, is something I really wanted to get. This reduced empire size and reduced the cost of leader upkeep. But resettlement's cool. Deviancy I don't have to worry about, and stability. So, and then I did versatility. This is going to help with reducing housing usage, which is a lot of money. Market fees being cheaper for trading. Upkeep for jobs down. Resettlement costs. So this is what I should have done instead of synchronicity. And I can only do 2 more after that. And there's like, 12 or 15 to choose from. So anyways, and then finally, well, really quickly, I have 4 active science chips. I managed to get 2 past all of these bad aliens somehow, because when a science chip shows up in a hostile system you're not expecting, they can sort of disappear. They can get destroyed, but a lot of times they'll just disappear for a while and then re-show up in the heart of your empire, and you gotta start all over again. But sometimes if you catch it quick enough, you can tell them to go actually out further, and while that locks them out of the empire, these guys will never come home. They're still sending me information. Here's another science ship here. So I'm exploring this whole last corridor. Let's say from like 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, essentially. And I have another science ship here, and he'll complete this area as well. So I'm gonna have a good view soon. My 4th science ship is still close to my empire, but that's because I'm still deciding whether I want to expand. And well, it seems like strategically expanding down this way would be smart. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, actually, this is the smartest, because the Synthoans don't seem to care if I'm surrounding them, and there's just so many more resources and planets and so forth here. Again, building systems right up against the giant galactic core. Nothing can attack you from the galactic core, so it's just a free shield along an entire flank of your empire. Whereas here, I could build down here, and this is why I want to explore this first, in a lot of ways, because at least these planets here, yeah, in fact, you know what? Moving to Suski's Maw. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Let's stop. We're gonna actually explore these ones that are closer to see if there's anything interesting and worthwhile to continue to overexpand and take punishments for it, but also to expand the empire that no one can get to because they have to go through my other planets to get there. I would have to drop a if I was going to do that, I would have to drop a base or an outpost or whatever at one of these places just to make sure. Actually, here, this would be the one, the neutron star. Which what's cool is systems with high energy stars, or electromagnetic radiation, like it affects shields negatively or it affects speed negatively. Yeah, so I could look down here, but I'm not. But if I do that, I'm not getting more information about the empire around me. So now I'm having second thoughts about that. And I might want to settle up here. All right, let's stop again, because there just aren't that many resources here. Yeah, you know what? Let's go back to what we were doing before. We're gonna survey this, and then we're gonna survey this, which we've already surveyed. So sorry. Survey this, then survey this, survey this. And if these end up having more resources, I might settle this whole sector here, continue to take empire size growths, which lead to net negatives for me. But that's actually okay, because I'm finding various ways to offset that. It should be way worse than 236 right now. But if I keep going higher, then my technology costs are going to get out of control. And so maybe further expansion is not the best thing, which is why I have both of my construction ships just hanging out near a starbase, but they have nothing to improve at any of my systems. I've built all the research bases, all of the mineral factories, refineries, or whatever. And if I keep building more planets, my energy's gonna go way down, my food's gonna go down, my empire size go up. So I may actually just stop building to the empire. Now construction ships are cheap. Their upkeep is 1 energy per month, so even if I scrap both of them, I'm only gaining 2 energy more, which is nothing. And they're not taking up that much space because I have a I don't have it there. I was gonna say I have target uplink, but what I really want is, well, I'm gonna upgrade this to Star Fortress, and then we'll put Service Umbilicalist, which is reduces the upkeep of the ships by negative 25%, which is good, but it's actually not that super important. So yeah, so this is gonna actually be my outer outpost in the southeast of my empire, because anyone coming from, well, I mean, these guys, again, if these guys with their super ancient mega armies decide to come this way into my empire, then I have to deal with that. If I had unlimited star bases, unlimited money, I'd throw down another star fortress here to prevent that. But right now we're fine with them, and the Vivicendians have to go through Eustace Skepidus to get to the majority of my empire. And anyone coming from this eastern side, which I'll know more about soon, hopefully, from my oh man, but there's this direction too. I kind of want another science ship. I don't have enough leaders. But anyways, anyone coming from up here or down here also has to go through here. So this is a major
ships upscaled
stopping point. All right, so they're the upgrades completing. Chu is here. So this is where I'm building. This is where I'm building ships, right? What do I have? I've got Corvette, Cruiser. Let me wait till I get some more money. So I also have a Space Dragon, which is super cool. He's mostly been doing things like eating my food and causing chaos, but it turns out he just wants to be understood. Like, I'm sorry, Space Dragon. And so we've recently been able to make a breakthrough scientifically where we're starting to be able to communicate with him. But for now, he's just flying through the system again after landing on the home planet for a while. And we'll see what that leads to in terms of like story points. So yeah, I guess, you know, if I didn't have to assign leaders to my science ships, then I would get rid of these construction ships and just build another science ship. But I don't have the resources right now to do so. And so I'll just have to take what I can get. And I have my fleets where I have my fleets. So that is that. All right. Next thing we have to look at. Let's see. We have a bunch of alloys, and we're gonna have a bunch more soon. All of these stations are saying they're upgradable because they're all technically upgradable to Star Fortress. But I mean, how many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 star bases. So you know that's like well over 10,000 alloys to get them all into Star Fortresses. I do have one as a star. I believe I have 1 star. Do I have 1 Star Fortress, or I'm building it? Okay, so Dor I'm building as a Star Fortress, and part of this is the colony ships coming in
upscaled
to settle. It's about to settle.
Upscaled.
We can watch it actually. So here goes the colony ship.
Potential market survey completed. Research actualized.
Oops. Whoop, didn't want to do that.
Market outlier identified.
Nope. Leave P for now. No, we wanted to settle. Alright, here it comes. How many turns? Can't be that many turns. 5 days. Alright, so there's more new research I need.
Ships upscaled.
Let's see. So, how does the colonization
Colonial
begin?
enterprise upsizing.
Alright, so there it is. Surveyed. Found an anomaly. Surveyed. 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 So right now I have my my biggest fleet is in Dor. Strategically my biggest fleet should be in Beryllion or Kenath. But my fleet in Kenath is not that much lower than Dor. And I have a planet here. And this is going to be part of the Master Conduit sector. So now I have 7 planets. My empire size just jumped to 248. So overexpansion is a thing. It's going to take...
Potential market survey completed.
It's completed 226011. So it takes less than 2 years to colonize. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn this into a star fortress. Because I'm actually not that far away. Oh, it's already... Sorry, I keep fucking up. It already is upgrading to a star fortress. Okay, so I could start building more ships, but I'm up with it with the naval capacity. So time for another star fortress. Alright, so this is an interesting... situation. So I could put a star fortress here at Klenadath. That would make the most sense in a lot of ways because it is a major entrance point for the Vivicendians. I can't build new outposts, or star bases I should say, because I'm at the max. So rather than spend that money on building new star bases or turning outposts into starports, yeah, it could go a lot of ways. Paith is supposedly defending me from the Obnevians and these aliens, and I have all of these bases of various sizes to the north, but they're defending against hostile, powerful aliens, but that aren't really bothering me. So I'm not exactly sure where the hurt's gonna come from, but I think I'm actually gonna make Euskepis into a star fortress when I get there with the money. Up there goes my food again, just from a new plant, just like that. Well, my alloys are great. My food goes way down. My energy goes way down. So, but I can. Most of these have hydroponics bays already, but I will be able to add to my energy significantly by upgrading these to star fortresses and do more of these solar power networks. As for food, all right, so now it's time to visit my planets. All right, here we go. We're at maximum districts, and I can't clear the one blocker that's there. So I can't do anything now because there's no bases, no upgrades that I can afford, or that I'm ready for yet, and no more districts. So the first 2 planets, Beryllion and Master Conduit, nothing doing. All right. So here we're already at max districts as well, at Themaean Prime, which is 20 districts. We could use amenities though. I'm hoping there's upgraded drone storage, and I have 1 more building slot. So is there anything that can raise amenities? I mean, I'm tempted just to throw down another, volatile molecules, which I actually do sort of need, and I do have, yeah, that wouldn't be bad, for jobs. I could do another drone storage, which adds housing and amenities, 8 plus 6, doesn't do much else. Planetary generator. Do I have I probably already have a research lab, right? Resource silo, not an issue. Do I have a sentinel post? I do, I believe I have a sentinel post. I thought I had a sentinel post, which turns unity. Deviancy isn't an issue, nor is defense armies. Energy credits into unities and amenities. That's what we want. Simulation site. Yep. That's exactly what we want. We need to increase the unity, as always, to get through those ascension perks and so forth. But also, we got plenty. We will soon have energy again and can build amenities here. So that's the simulation site. All right, so that's that. All right, so here we go. Oh, here we go. Alloy foundries. This is what turns food into alloys. It's our specialty. And this will give me more alloys. Food upkeep will grow, so I really need to get more food somehow. But we are building a Nexus district, and then in that district, I'm going to build probably another hydroponics bay for food production. And I'm going to wait on the upgrade for now, actually. There's the agricultural district. Not a lot of space for it. So let's go to plan. I already have 2 hydroponics and so forth. What was I looking at? Oh yeah, energy credits into Unity and amenities. Do we need amenities here? We do need amenities. Alright. Alright. Produces base. Oh, this doesn't have a cost to it. Really? I mean, it's jobs upkeep, but that's it. Alright, why don't we build a generator district first for some energy? In fact, why don't we build 2 generator districts, and then maybe we'll go back to the simulation site. Okay. Alright, Desert World, Maval Prime. This is one of my newer planets. Where is it? Here it is, right here. Only 1 planet in from the border. So Klendath was a possible place that I would put a Star Fortress. All right, here's the upgrade again. Administrative array, more housing, more amenities, tons of more amenities. That's great. 2 building slots, armies, jobs, alloys into pops. Absolutely need to do the upgrade of your main buildings in most campaigns, almost all the time, if you can hack it. I also can clear blockers, although it's expensive. But I'm not at the place where I need to do that yet. Wait, where's the... No, administrative upgrade is the upgrade. So... Yeah, so why don't we put in a generator district for more energy. And we got tons of minerals. This is what's being colonized right now, and that takes us back home. Alright, so that's it. So soon we're gonna have enough alloys to either build more ships, which is always great, or to expand into Star Fortresses, which is what I'm leaning towards right now, because the few borders I do have with possible or actual hostile neighbors, you know, it's a much more efficient thing than, because if you go to these bases, you know, you can add gun batteries and torpedo batteries that are just add offense to the base, so you don't need to always have ships there, which is great. And not only that, so they, you know, but they mostly increase ship and hull points. In addition, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. The gun batteries and torpedo batteries don't actually, I mean, they do fire, but they mostly are helping your ships, but they help with trade protection, and they mostly provide bonuses to defense platforms, which I've not built almost anywhere. Let's see, I have enough moats to do so, but right now I have ships. I have ships in most places. You know what, though? This could be fun to get at least 1 or 2 defense platforms. 1 or 2 in each of my sort of vulnerable systems. Let's look at my research. I just unlocked the reverse engineering of minor artifacts. I don't know what that's going to do, but it sounds super cool. All right, here you go. Building. Ooh, food processing centers. Okay, this is what we're gonna get. I think this upgrades. This will upgrade the processors I have already for food. I'm almost for sure gonna get this. Nothing else I even really need. Alright, where's my, so I've got this fleet here. So what do we got? A couple corvettes, a cruiser, carrier cruiser. Alright, we'll get a Rosican cruiser. It has a bomber class frigate. What are my frigates looking like? I don't use their auto fleet management, so don't yell at me. Alright, so the vaporizer is, oh, interesting. It's a siphon and a torpedo. The assassin is just a full torpedo boat. But so is the bomber. I have exotic gases. So why is the damage less? It's the same weapons. Chance to hit +5. Maybe because of it takes extra power. But auxiliary fire control is an amazing thing. So is that what's costing the... No. So what is... Wait, hold on. Wait, what? Advanced shields. So what's the difference? Oh, because they're level 3. Okay, so I don't need the assassin because the bomber is the better version, so I get rid of that. The vaporizer also seems like not that important. You want to hit capital ships, go through the shields. That's torpedoes and missiles. Right, okay. So there's a shield, armor. Alright, we're gonna rename this one the, no, bomber's fine. Vaporizer, I'm not sure I feel like the vaporizer would use, what is it? Well, wait, what's the other one I have? Frigate is with a railgun. Okay, so these are mostly, again, supposed to be going against capital ships. So armor damage, doesn't have shield damage. The advanced railgun is very tempting because this can be the one that can attack. This could be the one that can go against shields. If I autocomplete, yeah, they put a torpedo in there. I mean, there's nothing else I can put. So until I have more G's, as they say. Not much else I can do there. Wait, hold on, sorry. Alright, 2 shields, 2 hulls, plus the fire control. Yeah. So really, I mean, the bomber is really the main one because that's where the big hits are gonna come from. All right, so back to here. So we do bomber class frigate. Okay, that's enough for now.
Market outlier identified.
Found an anomaly. Oh, an anomaly. Great. In the meantime, though, let us. By the way, I am turning the speed on and off as we go along.
Ships upscaled.
I like to make my decisions. If I'm making a lot of decisions, I like to freeze time, but at the same time, I don't necessarily, you know, want to stop it completely. All right, we haven't actually built any defense platforms yet. So this is cool. This is really cool because this is one where the sections, I believe, are the same, right? Yeah, defense platforms. So since I am teching into point defense, that'll be cool, and that's super close range to defend themselves. The G's just the torpedoes, right? I don't think that's gonna do much. So it's either 2 mediums or 4 smalls. So they complete the small with railguns and the small Eon disruptor. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. I'm just gonna call it PDC Railguns. Whoops. PDC Rails V1. Oops, sorry about that. By the way, I do have the console edition of this, which I almost never play for obvious reasons, but if you do like what you're seeing and you don't have a big system for it, it actually, while it doesn't look as good, it still looks amazing, and you'd be surprised how relatively easily you can control, how relatively easily you can control stuff with the controller. Alright, let's sell some minerals. Are we negative in motes now? We are. So we're gonna pick up rare crystal. Ah, I didn't mean to sell, I meant to buy. Ah, shit. Okay, well that was my fault. That was my fault. So buy 50 more of these, 50 more of these. We'll sell more minerals because we make them super fast. And food will come soon. I love having over 100 ally production. That's great. My unity's great. Yeah, as long as I can keep trading for those metals, those precious metals, will be great. But I have to be careful about my empire size, and I can't actually build too many more ships. So I think actually the shipbuilding is gonna halt a little bit here. What do I have? I kind of want to split the fleet a little bit and send some north. Maybe 2 destroyers and a cruiser. All right, split fleet. Okay, here we go. There's 2 destroyers. The corvettes will stay there, and the frigates will stay there. But I'll send 2 destroyers and 2 cruisers, or 1 cruiser. What did I say? I think just 1. All right. So the detriment. So yeah, so now I have 2 6.4 fleets. We'll send the detriment up to 2, and we'll combine with this one to make them a 2000. It's not the strongest, but it's not terrible. Alright, here we go. What else do we have to deal with? Let's go back to the planets real quick. Still colonizing. Can't build anything. Can't build anything. Alright, so the simulation site's building. This one's pretty much done, other than... Okay, so the primary nexus. Yeah, well, we want to do the upgrade here. Let's just wait for the next month. We'll get the money, and... No? Oh, number of pops greater or equal to 50. Okay, time loop. Weezer 5 is burning up. Oh my god. I say Weezer? Yeah, Weezer. Stop. We've detected the presence of a pre-FDL on Messerentheim. Alright. Alright. 5 is burning out. Which is the 5th planet? That's 3. Where's Weezer 5? What's with these homies? My girl. Alright, whatever. It's here somewhere, apparently. I thought it was this. Alright. Planet is encased in a shield, capturing radiation. Scorching heat. Advanced civilization of tiny squad mate reptilians scurry about. Oh. Some event of great magnitude seems to be in the works. Yes, tension peaks, time stops without warning, stretches and morphs until possibly the reptilians are back where they started. So they're in some sort of weird planet-wide time loop. They appear to be locked in a time loop, a hopeless cycle of fast-forward repetition, starting at the birth of civilization. In mere hours, countless generations can be observed living out their lives, unaware they have been condemned to certain crispy death. We've discovered a crack in the shield that could allow us to change their fate. Okay, well, this works great. Well, they're really far from me, actually. So, even if we want to add them to our empire, it's tough. So, okay. So, new project is repairing the shields. I can interrupt the time loop. I can lock them up. Or I can just take research their fate as their own. That's a lot of research. I mean, it's 10 months of research. I'm gonna take it, even though I'm curious to see what would happen there. But they're just too far away from too far away from where I am to make a difference. Okay, here we go. Right, so here's where I regret picking synchronicity. Versatility. One more envoy. That's always good. Population housing usage. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna get a population housing usage. We're just gonna get some straight money. Returns. That should make a difference on our
future market survey complete.
Our monthly resources once the month turns. I'm not sure if it did. So I don't know what to do with all this influence, to be honest with you. I'm just maxed out on influence. I got nothing to do with it. Yeah. How's my science ship doing? Alright, so here's a pre-FTL. So yeah, so I could settle here, which is an awesome world, actually. And this has tons of minerals. So let's keep another planet. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's continue the settling. Let's surround these guys and see what happens. We've got so much authority, or whatever it's called. What is it? Influence. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Alright, so really quickly, back to the planets. Here comes the simulation site. And then, until they hit 50 pops, I'm only at 28. So yeah, they're not gonna have time to do anything else. Or I can't build anything else here right now. So right now, the top 3 planets, and then Door is still in colonization stage. Alright, Craxima Prime, here we go. So here's more food into alloys, but I kind of need more food. Now I think I'm about to develop a food breakthrough, right? Food processing centers in 6 months. I think what that's going to do is upgrade food processing facilities. So it shouldn't affect. It should not affect impassable mountains. Right. So food and energy again are the 2 things that are needed. Sentinel posts. No, what is it? What's the one? Energy credits into Unity. It's not bad. Do I have a research lab there already? I do. There's the faculty of archaeologists, or whatever they call them. Oh, drone storage. Yeah, that's what I should build. Housing and amenities. Don't need housing, but could you always use amenities? Alright, so there's the generator district. The simulation site. And then build more energy. And then allow for more buildings. And then we'll build industrial, which turns food into alloys. Oh, we'll wait on that. We need to get more food first. Alright, not a whole lot we can do. So at the moment with the food situation,
complete.
It'll be up. There goes energy into the negative. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put. Alright, so what did we decide was going to be our next star fortress? I think we decided it was going to be Euliscepus. What's causing all my energy to drop so fast here? Districts, buildings, star bases. Yeah, it's this endless expansion. But you know what? There's just not a whole lot I can do. Energy filled up. I can demolish some districts actually. What am I building here? Drone storage? I think I'm gonna cancel this and build I can't build more than one energy thing. I can build more hydroponics farms though. So yes, let's put a hydroponics farm there to get the food. There's the generator district. That'll give me some energy. There's the generator district. That'll give me some energy. We'll put an energy grid here. And that's all we can do for now. Almost at year 2260. Very exciting. Uh-oh. What's this? Senate is in session. Leader pool refreshed. Cool. Alright, what's up next? Workers' rights. I'm opposing because that helps because happiness doesn't affect me, nor does political power. And I'm opposing this one because I don't want negative diplomatic weight from what I think is a good economy by me. These are things being brought up by weaker nations to cripple larger nations like myself, essentially. Alright. There we go. How close are we to, what do we need, 1250? So we're 2 or 3 months away from being able to build the Star Fortress there, and then we can build some more energy. Alright, so here's one. Right, so he's just going to get 2 more solar power networks. That's not a problem. And then the transit hub is great. Automatic resettlement to other colonies is enabled. Automatic resettlement chance 100%. I guess that's cool. I think we're gonna leave that empty for now, actually.
Future market survey complete.
Alright, so here's this guy exploring. He's really out in the wilderness. So do I loop him back or do I make him keep going? It's an interesting question. I kind of want to see where this junction goes here, so we'll do that.
Research actualized.
2 researchers. All right. There's the food processing centers. Starbase is more food. Awesome. Starbase building. Very cool. Ancient rampart. Cost. Defense platforms. Huh. None of these are important, so I'm for sure gonna just check that out. Point defense cannons. Upgrades. Awesome. These are both sabotage things. Oh, gateway travel. Okay, so this will allow me to finally use the gateway. That's fantastic. So he's gonna upgrade because he's got points to point defense cannons. He's gonna upgrade because he's got points defense cannons.
Upscaled.
By the way, I'm almost at my naval capacity, so I gotta be careful here. Am I building ships anywhere else right now actively? Because I am. I need to stop. Yeah, I am.
Ships upscaled.
Because that's going to take from away. Yeah, take away from my stuff. Ships upscaled, ships upscaled, ships upscaled. Oh, right, shore station. Did the thing... Hydroponics bay... I still have to research it. I'm a dummy, of course. Building slots. More building slots available. Oh, here it is. Upgrade, right. Upgrade food processing centers. Yes. This is gonna be huge across my. This is why you do it. Okay, I am going to need more volatile molecules, though. Can I get it from the market? I can. I want to buy. I'm going to need more than 50. Why don't I sell a bunch of minerals? Oh, ready for the fortress. Okay. Still a little short. Rare crystals I need. Now, why does it cost more to buy in that quantity? It's very bizarre. Alright, whatever. I bought 50. That'll be plenty for now.
Ships upscaled.
Alright, there are the PDC upgrades. Okay, so now we can get the other Star Fortress. So that'll be here. Yeah. Evasion negative 100%. Armor, hit point, starbase modules. Defense platform, sensor range. Oh, it doesn't actually do that much. But I'm up against it with the fleet limit, so for now, that's not the worst thing. We'll do it. We're making plenty. Alloys is actually, unlike almost all my previous games, Alloys is actually not that big of a deal. Alright, so we can build more. Okay, so here's food processing center, more food. This says it has clearable blockers, but I don't see where the blockers are. Oh, I don't have the energy.
Future market survey complete.
Yeah, I need to get back into positive energy ASAP.
Potential market survey completed. Potential spaceborne resource encountered.
Spaceborne resource. Interesting. Steam age. This guy's almost there. Up against the cap limit. Alright, energy's
Outlier
at least
identified.
Alright. Once I get to 1,000 minerals, I'll sell some for energy. Oop, there's more energy. There we go. Build the mining stations. Yeah. Yeah, it's worth doing the fortresses just so I can mine energy from space. The energy grid's coming online here. I'm gonna build another generator district. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. Our trade treaty has timed out. Active sensor link. Okay, so it's still gonna show me the last thing that I know from the maps that they shared from me, but I don't think it disappears from the map.
Is where you find it.
Particularly large crater. Okay. This is the Examiner. Science ship. Level 4. It's way away from my empire. Okay. I get Eon thrusters technology. Okay, sweet. Is that auto upgrade? It is. Oh, that's fantastic. Everything.
Market outlier identified.
Because everything uses thrusters. Right, but what's... Eon thrusters. Alright, hold on. There's Eon thrusters. Oh, I guess a lot of things just don't have Eon thrusters. Okay, let's unlock battleships. It gives me the fleet command limit. We can at least build a few more of those. I mean, I'd like to get the basic strike craft and hangar bays and so forth, but I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose battleship. Why won't it let me select it? That's weird.
Upscaling complete.
No, that's not it. Okay, I'm not sure what that was all about. Alright, so there goes all my energy, but here we'll get... No, mining stations first. Then research stations. And then this guy will come over here. Pre-FTL civilization plus some energy.
Market outlier identified.
Alright, research. Energy still in the negative, but we're holding on. Okay, so time to upgrade everything here. Upgrade. 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 This is gonna be a lot of money. Yeah, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. Alright, here's the colony. Colony is active. So, yeah, I mean, we need food and we need energy. I mean, there's absolutely no question about it. And so what we're going to do is build a food processing facility and the hydroponics farm. And we shall go from there.
Ships upscaled.
See, closer inspection of the platform on Chichianowega. Is that one of my things? No, that's way out of my empire. Repair it. Just leave. Highly experimental. Weaponize the beams. Let's repair the platform. This is probably going to be a terrible idea. So we'll try it.
Situation log revised.
We'll try it just for fun.
Upscaling complete. Potential market survey completed.
Alright. How are my ships looking? Ships looking pretty good.
Ships upscaled.
Low stockpile, volatile moats. Yeah, as always. Damn, we're really low. And we don't have energy either, which is a problem. At least we're in the positives again. Alright, well, we can sell minerals all day long. We can buy moats, which I guess we're bleeding at least 2 a month.
Ships upscaled. A system has been surveyed.
Alright, so here's another wormhole. Soon we'll actually be able to use these. Alright, now where am I sending him to? I think we continue this way. Alright, now where am I sending him to? I think
Research
here.
actualized.
The machine is still operational. Where's this? The Japhon system? Alright, it's right outside my system. Pull the lever. Or take physics research and minerals. I'm taking it. I'm not... I need all that stuff. Alright, so this is great with the construction templates. Everything is going to get much cheaper. Alright, alloy nanoplants, alloys. Food upkeep goes up. Oh, this is an upgrade to my main building, I believe. Alloy processing plants. Yeah. Max districts. City district housing. Yeah, let's go for the alloy nanoplants. Alright. Uh-oh. Where? Nope. Where,
Potential spaceborne resource encountered.
Okay, it's way up here. So like, yeah, so he ran away. So there's the upper limit. So which way do I go? I feel like this is all going to be bad aliens. So why don't we just go back this way? Let's do this.
Upscaling complete.
Alright. So we got this. Oh, we can build observation posts. First mining though, then research, then observation. There goes my Empire sprawl. So yeah, it'd be nice to build another star base at one of these planets. This is an amazing planet. This has tons and tons of rooms. Okay, so now you can see their fleet. They have a fleet that's so powerful that it's just called the Steel Preserver. And then they've one that's worth 322,000, which you can mine all mine. I'm not even 1/10 of it. So here's, I mean, look at this. I mean, that's all they are. They're just one big Gamma class. What is this? Synthoan Gamma class. Synthoan community. Yeah. The total insanity. So I can't possibly compete with 111 or 500,000 damage or whatever. So hopefully they're not mad that we're surrounding them with the Empire. Because if they do get mad, then no amount of bases and guns and so forth protecting those bases will do anything. Alright. Establishes a Galactic Council of 3 members. Council begins with the powers to push emergency measures, sanctions, blah blah blah. I'm going to oppose that. I want to keep... I'm going to send another delegate. So I have 2 for these votes. And I still have another delegate, actually. Or another, envoy, I mean. So... let's see, there's... do the Synthoans have a, yeah, they don't have a lot of options in general. What do the curators do again? Aid us in our research. We'll have to go back and hit some of these up. So I believe we have an envoy. Oh, we just don't have an envoy anywhere else. So who do we want to become buddy-buddy with? The humans are even getting weaker now. And I can't send an envoy here. Offer a trade deal. They don't need anything from me. Alright, let's go to our situation log. Something's got to need an envoy, right? Oh yeah, Kappa aliens. Yeah, we should do that. We'll do first contact with them. Alright, let's get through this year. We'll take a break. Alright, transit hub. Non-sapient robots. Yeah, that's not really us. That's not really us. Oh, but we are ready to get another Star Fortress. So do we do it down here with Klendath, or do we do it way up? I think the threat's still from down here, so why don't we do it with Klendath? Yeah. Yeah, that's the way. This is the way. Alright, there we go. Now we're back in the positive with everything because of our building constructions, which is fantastic. We're low on motes again. We can sell. We can start selling some stuff. Buying some motes. You know, these are just. It's just holding off the inevitable, but it's not the worst thing. All right, first contacts. Best viewed from afar. There. Okay. Whoops. Sorry about that. There's the Jafan system. So we explore. Yeah, well, they have energy, so that's not bad. Alright, so now this guy can start heading in, also sort of into the core. So we'll research this, this, and this. We'll see how that goes. Afterwards, this guy's going to build a mining outpost here.
Market outlier identified.
And I think this rare crystals will be soon. Ooh. A Avarian escape pod drifted to our space. Violent clash. Grateful Avarian flag officer has pledged to serve us until death at no cost. Welcome aboard, Admiral. Ah, yes. But now we have too many. Alright, so what's the negative? Upgrade of your leaders increased by 11%? Oh no, we can't do that. But he is a better admiral than I think what we have in the other fleets by far. Yeah, definitely. So we're going to dismiss this guy. And, well, he got 6.4 unity. That's fine. Who's the one that needs an admiral? This guy does. Well, potentially a lot, actually. But this, for now, is our bigger fleet, so there we go. Council agenda. Yeah, we're gonna wait on council agenda. Oh, we got to the end of the year. Okay, so this is a good place to take a break. All right, so made some good progress. Starting to build tall with some of our buildings. Did I initiate Star Fortress? I did. That's great. Everyone's going somewhere. Everyone's got somewhere to go. Alright, well, thank you for joining me, and hope to be back on a little bit later. Peace.